Hello again. I'm Eric. This is another episode of From Prison to the Streets. If you would please leave a like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. The little thumbs up tells YouTube that this is relevant content, so it'll show this video and videos like it to more people, which I would like that to happen. Now, a while back, I made a video talking about my worst experience ever in prison, or out of prison for that matter. And in this video, I'm going to make a counterpart to that. What was the best thing about being in prison? That's what I'm going to talk about. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what could possibly be good about prison? Well, there is one thing that really sticks out in my mind, and that is being given the opportunity to help people in a very real, very tangible way. And maybe I should say significant rather than tangible. Sometimes it's not always what you see that is important, it's about what you do. Anyway, the best thing about being in prison was being able to help people. What do I mean by that? Well, there were a lot of guys that came into the system pretty young. They were headed down a bad path, and I was able to be a positive influence to them. And that meant a lot to me. Being able to share my story and help people see a different perspective and help them point their life in a different direction, that's important to me, and that means a lot to me. And to this day, having gone through prison, that experience gives me you know, um, a position to speak from, kind of a platform, I should say, where I can talk to people who normally wouldn't really care about what I had to say. But because I've been there and done that, they listen up and they value my opinion on the subject. So there's people that are, on a bad path right now, and I can be the one that helps to point them in a different direction. And I like having that opportunity. I like helping people. But what's more, in prison, you find people at their lowest point. You find people that have lost their home, their job, their loved ones. A lot of guys go to prison that are married and their wives leave them while they're in prison. They no longer talk to their kids after they're in prison. They lose loved ones. They'll have a loved one perish. A lot of guys go into prison at a fairly young age, late teens, early 20s, when they should be going off to college, and it literally derails the course that they were on. They might have been planning on going to college, doing something with their life, and instead they find themselves in an institutional environment, and they might not get out for 10, 20 years. That's a pretty low point. And sometimes helping somebody isn't telling them something or sharing an experience about yourself with them. Many times, the best way you can be there for somebody is to be present and to listen to what they have to say. That doesn't mean you listen to them and then you give them, advice. It's just listening. Sometimes people don't want advice. Sometimes they just want somebody to hear them out, somebody to hear their story, someone to empathize with them. And, there's some pretty beautiful people in prison. People who have a lot to offer the world, and they can't offer it to the world because they're in prison. However, they can offer it to the people that are in prison with them. I've met some really cool people. People that are never getting out. Guys that can play a guitar like something crazy. It would just blow your mind. People that are very smart, people that are very funny, people who just have the biggest personalities and are so fun to hang out with or just sit down and have coffee with. And I got to experience those people. You know, I got to sit down with them, I got to hear their story, I got to become friends with them. And so being able to be there and experience the people that the rest of the world forgot, being able to lend an ear or being there to be someone's friend when they're in their lowest point, that's pretty special. That's what I absolutely loved about prison. It seems like on the streets, a lot of things are superficial nowadays. You know, you interact with people on social media, on Facebook. You send messages and stuff. But me, no. You know, I kind of feel like I was transported from another time sometimes. Because before I got arrested, people would text each other every once in a while, but Facebook wasn't really a thing yet. And when you wanted to hang out with your friends or you wanted to talk to your friends, you didn't message them. You picked up the phone, you called them, said, "Hey, what are you doing? I'm going to be in town. Let's hang out." I miss that. And so being in prison where you got to experience people and sit with them and engage with them and interact with them in a very real way, in a genuine way, when you're kind of in the trenches in this very hostile environment, going through the same horrible experience, pretty meaningful, very valuable, something that I wouldn't trade for the world. That is the coolest thing. I shouldn't say cool, but that is the best thing about prison, in my opinion. So, I'm Eric. This has been another episode of From Prison to the Streets. And I will see you all next time. You take it easy. Break the